Fox 61, Connecticut's news station, starts with a weather impact alert.
And right now, a strong nor'easter is moving along the East Coast, and with it, damaging wind gusts and floods are possible in some areas. Thanks for joining us here on the Fox 61 News at 10. I'm Sarah Sanchez. We have team coverage tonight. This is a live look at Simsbury, where part of a tree fell and the power was out for a bit in the area. We have a crew there right now. They've driven around the state to some of the hardest hit areas. We'll check in with them in just a few moments. But first, of course, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank for a first look at the forecast. Rachel, that's a lot of rain behind you.
Yeah, we've got a lot more to go as well. The worst part of the storm, the high impact part of the storm, is going to be hitting New Jersey and Long Island. For us here, parts of the state, you're just going to look back at this as a wind-driven rain event. But other parts of the state, like the shoreline and the hills, could be talking about some scattered outages, and we're also watching the potential for coastal flooding as well. Here's a look at the radar. I mean, I'm not going to zoom in. You can clearly see it is raining, and there are some pockets of moderate rain as well. In terms of rainfall totals, we're expecting about an inch or two, which, as you know, it's been so dry lately, so we are not expecting any river flooding. But in a heavier downpour, there could be some poor drainage issues. Maybe you're splashing through some puddles overnight or into the morning commute tomorrow. It'll be wet and windy. Not a great drive to work if you have to go. In terms of winds, inland, Hartford area, gusts to about 30. No big deal. But as you head into the higher elevations, there could be gusts closer to 40 or 45. So again, in the higher elevations, there could be a few outages. And the same is true along the immediate shoreline, with gusts as high as 45 to 50 miles per hour. And there is a wind advisory along the immediate shoreline, just to warn people about that. A coastal flood advisory is in effect now until 8 o'clock tomorrow night for some minor coastal flooding during times of high tide. So don't park your car in an area that sometimes floods. We are not seeing any extreme winds right now, but I do think the worst of the winds will start after midnight and continue through about noon tomorrow. Along with it, we will have that rain. We'll take a closer look at all of this. Your full forecast is coming up, Sarah.
Thank you, Rachel. Now our team coverage continues. Our crew's been driving around the state all afternoon, as I mentioned, to the areas that have already been hit with heavy rains and high winds. Fox 61's Tim Latow joins us live in Simsbury, where several hundred people were without power earlier tonight. Tim, what can you tell us? What are you seeing out there?
Yeah, that's right, Sarah. We started out in Hartford, drove down to the coast, now back up to Simsbury here, as you mentioned, where, more than 450 people were without power, according to Eversource. Thankfully, though, we've seen the power return for so many of these areas, including right here in Simsbury, as the Eversource crews have worked hard all throughout the day. The rain has come down harder, and the wind continues to blow harder as well. Now, meanwhile, I want to show you a few of the other spots we were at today in Milford. Constant rain caused water to pool in the streets and wash up and onto the sidewalks as the sewers became overwhelmed. Over in Guilford, a massive tree crashed down in a front yard and took the power lines with it. As nightfall set in, utility crews had an even more difficult job trying to find damaged power lines in East Lyme. Neighbors there say they've been prepared for anything, especially after they went a week without power during Hurricane Sandy and the blizzard of 2015. Neighbors there have talked about the intense winds that they've seen, and they're also making sure that they're going around and making sure that everything is bolted down outside so things aren't blowing around. And one of the neighbors we talked with, too, he's been a telephone utility pole worker as well in the past, and he mentioned how he admires the crews and what they do in all kinds of weather conditions. Now, towns and cities are urging people to secure outdoor objects and prepare for power outages and possible impacts of coastal flooding, as Rachel was mentioning. Leaders are warning that travel may be difficult, and they want people to watch out for falling trees and blowing objects and to avoid downed power lines and standing water. And we'll be sure to keep you updated both on the air and online at fox61.com with the latest information. For now, live in Simsbury, Tim Latow, Fox 61.
Thank you, Tim. And you'll find more coverage of the nor'easter on our free Fox 61 News app. Use the QR code right there on your screen to download it, or go to fox61.com 24/7 for coverage. We're nearly 2 weeks into a government shutdown. More than 1 million federal employees are going without paychecks. Fox 61's Stefan Reels is here with us in studio to break down the fallout tonight. Stefan.
Hey, Sarah. Now, this could be a very big week as far as the government shutdown is concerned, because if it's not not over soon. People in the military could lose out on their first paycheck since this shutdown started, and that paycheck was supposed to be going out on October 15th, this Wednesday. Right now, there are about 1.4 million federal workers who have been either furloughed or are now working without pay. Those include TSA agents and air traffic controllers, and we've already seen this cause delays at airports across the country, like in Arizona or Florida. And sick calls for air traffic controllers actually have created shortages at 12 facilities. And Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, he says those delays from staffing issues have gone up more than 50% over the past few days. But luckily here in Connecticut, we seemingly have managed to avoid most of those impacts. At this time, leadership at Bradley International Airport tells me that there has been no operational impact by the shutdown at this time. Now, in the past, government workers have gotten back pay once the government shutdown had ended. But in the meantime, it still caused a lot of anxiety for people, especially for long-standing traditions tied to landmarks like national parks that have either reduced what services are available or have closed entirely. And believe it or not, Sarah, the shutdown has had a big impact on the running community. Concerns were raised about the Army 10-miler you see right here, a tradition in the D.C. area for more than 40 years. In fact, it goes through several landmarks operated by the National Park Service. This year, it was almost canceled. Organizers contemplated the idea before they landed on just moving the pen and pickup location from the usual D.C. Armory, and shared most of the funds were covered by race registration and sponsorships. The race route remained the same, so roughly 28,000 runners were still able to race Sunday. However, this still has a lot of the running community wondering if the ongoing shutdown could put one of the largest marathons in the country, being the Marine Corps Marathon, in jeopardy, since its course goes through several D.C. landmarks managed by the National Park Service.
People are just trying to find things that get them excited right now, and this is just another thing of disappointment.
Remember that you're not alone. Every other person who has signed up for a race that might be potentially canceled is also trying to navigate the situation.
And Sarah, the Marine Corps Marathon hasn't announced any changes at this time. However, organizers have said that they are keeping an eye on the situation.
And Steph, I know that you ran the Hartford Marathon. Did you hear anything from people out there?
Yeah, surprisingly, it was a very big topic of conversation. That's what steered me to this story. I had several people from the running group I trained with who are going to the Chicago Marathon. A lot of them were worried about traveling, and one person, in fact, I went with was worried that, while he could get there, he was worried that the air traffic delays would make it very hard to get back. So he just kind of got rid of Chicago entirely for his racing. And that's a very big deal. Chicago is one of the biggest marathons in the world. So that just really shows how uncertain people were, because they were just willing to give up what maybe only a handful of people could have the chance to do.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people saying as far as vacations too, they're worried that they're going to be able to get there or get back home, and it's something that you don't really think about, right? Until it affects you. All right, thank you, Stefan. As far as the national parks go, since that's still a big part of the conversation, we're talking about that too, Stefan. So here we go. Sorry, I didn't know I had another question for you.
No, it's okay. But that was another big part of the story was the National Park Service, whether they're still going to be open. The Marine Corps Marathon, they haven't necessarily said that they're going to worry about it right now, but their course does go through a lot, like the Iwo Jima Memorial, the National Mall. These are very big parts of the marathon, and if you take that away, that could put it in jeopardy. But we have seen some people try to come up with a solution. The National Park Service has said that, hey, you can use state funding to keep these parks open. We already saw that happen with the Shenandoah Park in Virginia, where I'm from. So there are people who are trying to make this a possibility, and it's going to take a lot, seemingly, to keep the Marine Corps Marathon from happening. Yeah,
it's sad because a lot of those national parks workers, they don't make a lot of money, right? Yeah. So we really are thinking about them through all of this as well. All right, thank you, Stefan. Finally. And we're taking a deeper dive into the shutdown, what it means for you, from air travel to food assistance even. We're bringing you reaction from around the country with expert insight into what's happening on Capitol Hill. It's all on Fox 61, our streaming platform. You can stream it for us for free right now on your smart TV. And meanwhile, across the globe, Israel's ready to welcome the last hostages still held by Hamas. They'll be picked up by the Red Cross early tomorrow, then handed over to Israeli forces before being reunited with their families. Then they'll be flown to hospitals. Analysts say the freed hostages will need time to recover. President Trump will travel to Israel tomorrow to meet with families and address the Knesset before heading to Egypt to finalize his peace plan. An international team will then work to locate the remains of hostages who didn't come home. Though experts warn recovering those remains could delay the next phase of the ceasefire. Israeli troops have pulled back near the Gaza border, and Palestinians are returning to their homes, or at least what's left of them. 3 years ago today, 2 Bristol police officers were shot and killed in an ambush attack. And today, Bristol police held a private ceremony for Lieutenant Dustin Diamanti and Sergeant Alex Hamzy. The department asked the community to show its support with the color blue. You may remember this picture from the Bristol Police Department with blue lights from homes and businesses that could be seen from above. Look at that impressive show of support. Even 3 years later, those lights have never dimmed.
Shots fired, shots fired. More cars, send everyone.
October 12th, 2022. The day 2 Bristol police officers, Lieutenant Dustin Diamanti and Sergeant Alex Hamzy, made the ultimate sacrifice. They were sent to a home on Redstone Hill Road, along with Officer Alex Iarato, unaware the man who called 911 was waiting in the bushes, armed and in camouflage. All 3 officers were shot. Officer Iarato managed to get away, but not before he fired a single bullet at the shooter, killing him.
It can be easy to succumb to grief and anger, but let us instead honor and remember the qualities that defined how my brother and Dustin lived.
Since that night, Sergeant Hamzy and Lieutenant Diamanti's families, the law enforcement community, and people in Bristol have made sure their memories live on. They've raised funds and honored them at major sporting events. Memorial scholarships have been established in their names. The door from the officer's cruiser lives permanently inside the Bristol Police Department, covered in messages from the community. And many people on social media say they have kept their blue lights on every single night. Mayor Jeffrey Caggiano shared this photo on Facebook Friday of the newly renovated Federal Hill Green, lit up in blue. He thanked Bristol Parks and Recreation for honoring the fallen officers. Lieutenant Diamanti and Sergeant Hamzy's deaths weren't just difficult for Bristol. Their loss was felt all across the state. On Sunday, their brothers and sisters in blue shared messages on social media. Manchester police say the officers embodied the true spirit of law enforcement and say they were dedicated, compassionate, and had an unwavering commitment to justice. And West Hartford and Shelton police say they will be remembered for their bravery, service, and sacrifice. And as Hartford police put it, these eternal heroes are gone, but never forgotten. Officer Iarato has since returned to his job with Bristol Police. In a post on Facebook today, the Bristol Republican Town Committee said Officer Iarato's courage and resilience is a powerful reminder of the strength and spirit within the Bristol Police Department.